Roxo Media House.
The surgeon is in. Former head coach David Beaudin brings his football expertise to Frog fans everywhere in Dissecting the Frogs.
PlayActionPools.com. The newest sports pool hosting platform, Play Action Pools is your spot for all of your football contest needs. Whether it's a pick'em or survivor pool, Play Action has you covered against or without the spread. Be sure to check out PlayActionPools.com and use code FROGS today for 15% off your league.
Hey, welcome back into Dissecting the Frogs. This is his show, David Beaudin. I don't even know why I started talking first. Was I supposed to?
Yeah, listen, you're the man around
No.
here.
Usually Maggie Hell's in this spot. Obviously, we've given her a couple of weeks off so she can focus on her studies. I hope her mom's watching. We're counting down the 10 biggest plays for the Horned Frogs from the 2022 football season, right?
Yeah, most impactful, right? And so, as we talked about last week, Brian, everything has sort of a domino effect. And certainly these two plays here, I think, had that same effect, but also just monumental and sort of summed up what this team was all about this year.
All right, we're at 4-3, right?
We are.
In our countdown. I got a text earlier in the day from Joe Gillespie that says, "Tell Beaudin we play defense too." I just wanted to.
Well, he's going to get that today.
Okay,
right?
good.
Absolutely.
Finally,
yes, finally.
Finally,
yes.
we get a defensive.
We showed a little bit early on, but this is a signature defensive play. Okay. So he'll be fired up after he watches this one.
Okay, good deal. We're going to dive right into the countdown. We got 4-3 for you today. We're going to break down these plays, and we're going to roll the tape on number 4 right now.
Wideouts to either side, snap direct back to the running back, running to his right. Frogs bottle him up, hold him up short. That's Beaudin Robinson, doesn't get a great spot. Frogs will take over here as Texas unable to take advantage of the great field position. The Horned Frog defense able to bow its neck and hold them there on 4th down to bring us to a timeout of the field. Good response.
All right, there it is, that defensive play, number 4. That's against Texas down in Austin. How'd you pick this one?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big reasons why, right? When you look back, they had a nice win the week before at home versus Texas Tech. Nice job. They go on the road the week prior to that, West Virginia.
Yep.
Always a tough place to play, but it was a day game. West Virginia's down a little bit right now. All of a sudden, in this state, and certainly nationally as well, you look at it and you say, okay, you're in Austin, all these 5 stars. You got Beaudin Robinson on that play. Yeah. Everyone's touting him as the best running back in the country. No one's even mentioning Kendre Miller and what TCU has. Yeah. And they go down first quarter. It's a direct snap to Beaudin on 4th and 1. They're sort of in no man's land, right? That spot, as you know, at the plus 34, really can't, it'd be a 51-yard field goal. So, certainly not a gimme. You don't want to punt it down there. And they're thinking, okay, we're going to snap it to our best player, best running back in the country, big, powerful running back. And this defense steps up and makes a play. And I think, that really set the tone for the rest of that game and for them to go and being, 10-0 at this point.
I know we're going to break this play down, but I got to do this while I have a chance. 4th and 1, you go to that direct snap to Beaudin. Everybody in the stadium knows what's going to happen. Is that what you do on 4th and 1? I mean,
yeah. I think sometimes in their defense, right? I think sometimes you got to, just go with your best player and say, okay, sometimes you just got to make a play. And TCU did that instead, right? Yeah. And you said everybody knew it, and we're going to see that on film as well. I mean, we're going to see Johnny Hodges.
Everybody knew
that's
it.
right, including, and most importantly, the linebackers for TCU knew it, right? And they made a heck of a play. They fit it perfectly.
Yeah. Here's the other thing about, because I got to do this since we're talking about Texas. The one thing that they didn't do that TCU was so good at throughout the year was they weren't patient in the run game. Right. They got away from it. Here we are talking about Beaudin. This is early in the game. When the Frogs shut him down like that, from then on out, they got away from the run game.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
That's right. And by doing that, of course, they put it in the freshman's hand in Quinn Ewers. And really, you had not only we talked about Beaudin, but of course they had Roschon Johnson as well. So 2 of the best backs in the country, and they get away from it. Yes. But again, I think the TCU dictated that, right?
Okay.
And by plays like this, I mean, you can't get a yard with that crew on the field and that running back and a direct snap. All of a sudden, you start questioning yourself and what you can do in the run game if you're Texas. Yeah. And it also took the crowd out early as well. 100,000 people that night down in Austin.
Yeah. All right, slide over there and let's start breaking it down.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go. All right, play number 4 it is. We get to break it down. You've had a chance to take a look at it here. Coach David Beaudin rejoins us right now. All right, let's dive into this 4th and 1. They've got the ball at the 34 or so of TCU. Give me some sense as to, because we're going to see a little. I guess they're trying to make some eye candy here. What are they doing? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were exactly right. The whole place knew that the ball, where the ball was going to Beaudin Robinson. But as you can see here, I mean, typically when you run the direct snap, a lot of times it'll be post-snap movement. You get tight to the quarterback, so that's one indicator.
Right.
All right, but normally the quarterback is lined up somewhat over the center still, and when the ball is snapped, they'll move and get out of the way.
Sure.
This one here, though, when we go to the end zone, is really telling. I mean, Bijan's lined up right over the center. Okay. They try to take the quarterback, Quinn Ewers, as drawn here, get out of there and try to bring these linebackers from the backside away from it.
Right.
But as you let this thing play out, I want to go ahead and take a look here at Johnny Hodges. I mean, he's not fooled at all. He knows exactly where this ball's going.
Okay.
He's not influenced by Ewers one bit. He just goes right to the ball now. You see those linebackers making a play. So we'll go ahead and look here from the tight. Okay, TCU.
He's not behind the
right.
center.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so I mean, they're not fooling anybody. I mean, that's really kind of poor execution there by Texas. So they come out here, TCU is going to line up in a bear defense, right? So they're going to have somebody covered over the center, and then these guys covered over the guards. Over the guards here. You know, just like that 46 Bear defense, right? The Chicago Bears. So anyhow, that's the alignment they come in. But as we go to the blocking scheme here, it's an isolation play, okay? Just a typical ISO play. And normally you have a fullback and a tailback of the old I offense.
Yes.
And just going to run ISO. Well, they sort of manipulate that here. Roshan Johnson is going to try and isolate Jamoy Hodge, right? If you're TCU, you like that matchup.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah, that's right. And so what they should do here is double team back to Johnny Hodges, but TCU fits this perfectly. So right now they've got 7 blockers total if you include Roshan on the ISO play. Okay, they've got 7 blockers for 7 defenders because you're not going to count the safeties, right? And they don't count for the safeties here at all. But they fit this perfect. And as we let this thing play out, you see where Jamoy Hodge fits this thing.
Yep.
Right now, okay, Bijan can go either way. He can go here or here. He fits this purposely with his outside arm free.
Okay.
The reason he does that, theoretically, he's supposed to force it back to his buddy, which is right here, Johnny Hodges, on the backside. Well, the thing is, he knows that, right? He sees the gap here, but Jamoy Hodge still has leverage. And so as it plays out, he makes an incredible play, and you see that there's 5 hats sitting around the ball, and they stuff this thing at 4th and 1. And now all of a sudden, the crowd, which was going nuts, Texas was driving, and they get the ball on 4th and 1. They stop them, and to me, this here was a huge statement on a big night.
All right, so give me, if you're Bijan there and you see that again, what should he have done here? Because to me, I'm like, I'm going to take this outside, and I'm gonna see if I can't get, because is that Bud Clark on the outside maybe?
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? So you make a good point that they're out. They have them sort of that picket fence lineup, right? And they've got them. They have leverage everywhere. You really can't go here. You've got leverage. He did a great job here. Mark Perry behind him is a free runner. He's not accounted for at all.
Right.
But credit to Jamoy Hodge for blowing it up on their side of the line of scrimmage, keeping that arm free. So not only does he blow up the blocker on the ISO, he makes the play. And then his buddies join him, and all of a sudden it's a loss.
There's nowhere for Bijan to go.
That's right.
Yeah. The other thing is, look on the backside. That's perfect by the defensive end, isn't it? Because he gets upfield, and he's going to keep them. Bijan can't reverse field.
Right.
Oftentimes you'll see a guy go, "Oh, it's bottle up here. I'm coming back." Barry Sanders would take it the other way.
Great point.
But
absolutely. And then not only you get this on this side, the great thing here, instead of just working completely up the field and leaving a gap, he gets flat down the line. Perfectly coached, perfectly executed. And to me, this was awesome. Being there and hearing that crowd, just the dole right after this play, you knew that TCU really showed up to play.
Joe Gillespie just texted and said thank you.
Hey,
thank you for doing a defensive play.
You don't have to thank me. They did all the work.
Yeah, thank you for finally doing a defensive play. All right, that's play number 4. We're going to get to play number 3 next.
Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPIdrinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy. Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
All right, 4's in the books. Let's jump ahead now to play number 3 as we continue our countdown. The 10 most important, what do you call them, pivotal, impactful plays of the year. All right, so now we're at number 3. And generally speaking in this list, well, the Frogs didn't lose much this year, but you picked games and wins.
Yep.
You didn't in this one.
I know, yeah, you're right. But I think when you look at that Big 12 championship, Brian, I think at the end of the game, just the raw emotion of Max Duggan. And to me, this play here, the very next play, he goes in and scores, right? He's just exhausted. You can see him, and really could have been that play. I was either one. I was going back and forth on which one to choose. Could have been either one. But he's on his knees. He's completely exhausted after the game. They come up short in overtime, and he's in, just full of tears, and it just means so much to him. And to me, that just encapsulated who he is, really by extension, who this team is. Yeah. And so to me, that was it. I think that's the reason why he ended up, in New York was after those two plays, and why he ended up being, really close second as the runner-up for the Heisman. And then, why they went on and made the playoffs there. Yeah. Because, I look at that and they say, okay, this is a team that's tough, that's going to grind it out. They also had to play this team twice, right? Yeah. So beating any team twice, especially a quality opponent, is difficult. So, all those things aside, I still think, even though with the loss, this was really important. I also think it gave them some, just kind of woke them up a little bit as they head into that bowl game against Michigan.
It probably was a good thing. You hate to say
that's
that.
Right.
But it probably ended up being a good thing. Yeah. It's amazing how many adults, men and women, came up to me after that game and talked about his performance and how emotional they were watching that performance. I mean, that was one of those epic nights for athletes, wasn't it?
It was, and because everyone, I don't care what level you've played, competitive sports at, everyone can relate to that moment, right? Yeah. You give all, you're physically, emotionally just drained, right. And that's, it fit that cliche of leaving it all on the field. He did that. I mean, he didn't have anything left to give. And so for me, he just found a way to make a play like he did all year. Yeah. And so that's why, to me, this just sort of summed up, who Max Duggan is, and again, who this Horned Frog team was in 2022.
Did it kind of remind you of your 9th grade performance at St. Rita's Catholic School?
Man, I'll tell you what.
Was it just like that?
Not as good, but it was close.
Okay, I figured that. All right, we're going to go to the video. Slide over there. Let's check this play out. We're going to break it down for you right now.
Gunnar Henderson in the slot left, Spivey in the slot right, wide outs to either side. DiMaccardo picks up the blitz. Here's Duggan, now he's pressured, got a flush, roll to his left. Off he goes, sprinting inside the 45-40, on his feet down to the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10, and out of bounds there. Max Duggan running for his life, baby. 2:23 to go. He's got his Horned Frogs in position after a 40-yard sprint.
Welcome back in, Dissecting the Frogs, rolling on here from the Flying T Club studios. We're making Coach David Beaudin work hard to get to number 1. Tonight, we did number 4 earlier. Now comes number 3 as far as the impactful plays. I'm getting that right now. Impactful plays from the 2022 season. Number 3, though, we're going to go back to offense, as we mentioned, and we're in a loss here to Kansas State, the championship game. You obviously picked this for a reason, though.
I did, and X and O's wasn't one of them, as we discussed, right? It's just a pure effort play by Max, but I want to kind of see how it all went down. It looks like a little spaghetti.
What is this?
I put a little spaghetti on there for you, Brian. Okay. So this area here, you can see this is the blitz, okay? And they pop out this one defender. Okay, they're going to go man free. So if you look at these dotted lines across the board, that's catch man. They're playing soft man-to-man. Okay, that's who they're assigned to across the board. They're playing 4 across here. This guy was highlighted, their safety. That's the free player. Okay, they're influenced by Max's eyes. You'll see as we play this out, he's gonna roll to this side, which ends up really helping the cause when Max escapes and takes off. Okay, but they do a nice job, considering this is quite a blitz here that they throw. It looks like they're bringing 6 up front. Mm-hmm. If you look here, they actually pop this one out. Okay, this defender, defender here, they'll pop him. He's going to play Amari DiMaccardo the back man-to-man. So that's how you get man underneath across, and then this guy is your free player. So you'll see him pop out right here. Right. Okay, Amari, though, I want to take this to the end zone. he did a tremendous job all year long. They wanted him in passing situations because of his pass pro. However, this one wasn't one of his best, right? As soon as you see him bend over at the waist and sort of lunge, okay, that's going to free up that back shoulder. Okay, he gets hit with a spin move because he's not set with his shoulders back. It's sort of that proud chest posture. So that's the criticism there. But again, just like Amari did all year long, you'll see how he rallies. So, okay, Mac escapes. If you want to take this back here, he rallies to get that same defender once Max takes off. And just everyone sort of working together.
Right.
And then the rest here, I mean, I could go and draw up all kinds of stuff, but the bottom line is Max Duggan is really fast.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
As we joke all the time, we say, is he fast for Iowa? No, he's just fast, right, for anywhere. He takes off, pure effort, pure athleticism, and everyone else is rallying to help out.
All right, give me back, though, before we see it, because I want to see it in its entirety. But give me some content or context as to how the offensive line did picking this up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they did a really good job. The bust here was, and he was assignment correct as well.
Right.
It was just more technique,
Gotcha.
right? But everyone else is doing a heck of a job. So you'll see really impressive by Steve Avila. You know, he's got this linebacker sort of on a cross blitz. He takes that thing and buries it. So you'll see him from here to here.
Yep.
As soon as he comes across. So watch Steve right here. So he takes that one.
Yep.
They did a nice job. So normally when the back goes to pick up, whoever the line, you know, whether he's assigned to him originally or not, if they run some kind of X stunt at linebacker, then the first one goes to the line of scrimmage. It goes to the offensive line. The running back will then subsequently pick up the next one. And so that's what happened here. My guess is he was probably assigned to that first linebacker, but he got stoned at the line of scrimmage by Steve. And then you see Amari come in and pick up the trash.
So the nose tackle that has left, he's voided his space. He's going to be in coverage at this point. 15. Boom.
Right.
He's anticipating Amari leaving the backfield. Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. He's going to pick him up to where he goes. Now he's a defensive lineman. So
right.
Yeah. Right. So that's why instead of just going right to him, he kind of drops in space to see where he's going to go. Okay. Once he sees he stays in protection, then he's fine. He tries to rally to late to get Max.
Yeah.
But if you look at right here, Alana Lee at center, this is a really nice job by him as well, because as soon as he pops, okay, he sees them now. He's not a threat anymore. Okay, you're going to see Alon reset, okay, get some depth, and take the next thing coming. I mean, that's really high-level stuff here by the offensive line. A.J. Ricker, you can tell, did a great job with these guys.
All right, let it play out. I want to see it. I want to see what happens.
You got it.
Yeah. How does this thing end? Nice chip there by Amari, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And then it's essentially all Max.
It is. And guys have great angles on them. Doesn't matter. Just pure speed. Takes it down in the very next play. He punches it in for an 8-yard touchdown. And just
and these receivers, too, by the way, downfield,
they
all
were.
year long.
That's right.
All year long did that.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty amazing. All right, man. Good stuff there. Oh, one more time. Oh, no? Are we going to see it one more time?
Yeah,
Let's see this version of it.
All right.
See it from up here.
Yeah, you can see those receivers rallying, as you mentioned, all the way across the field.
My man Gunner.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're all trying to get involved. And look, I want to end with this for Max is there's a reason why all these guys are doing this. They're hustling across 53 and a third, to go get their nose in there. Yes, they have pride in their performance. Yes, they're great athletes, all those things. But to me, the biggest reason is they know Max is landing on the line for them.
Right.
And so they play hard for him. And I think, in these tight games, yes, they lost this one, but of course the only one of the year before the national championship, the reason to me is Max Duggan and his effort. He set the tone for the rest of the team.
All right, good deal. Let's play number 3 in our countdown right now.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU, both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime and order online at daveshotchicken.com. Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
All right, plays 4 and 3 are done. I'm a little surprised, I'm going to be honest with you. We're kind of talking through it there. That as a coach, and I now know how you are about execution and perfection when it comes to plays, that play number 3 is really a busted play.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Because as much as we like to dive into X's and O's here on Dissecting the Frogs, that one there is just pure will, right?
Okay.
You got to put in there. I think what Max was able to do this year, that sums it up. Like, hey, drop this and drop that. Max was going to say, look, I'm just going to put these guys on my back and make a play.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But you're right. It's tough to do that because, you see the blown protection and all this kind of stuff, and it claws at you a little bit.
Yeah, but because sometimes you just got to go to the dirt, right?
That's right.
I mean,
that's
you just got to go to the dirt.
Well, players
and draw it
make
out.
plays.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Dissecting the Frogs. We're going to do it again next week, and we're going to get number 2 and number 1.
It's the big one next week. Yeah.
I've been trying to sit here and think what's left. Because I think you've covered all. So you got something up your sleeve.
You got to tune in. You got to tune in to find out.
You got something up your sleeve. We'll do that next week on Dissecting the Frogs. And as always, the encouragement is to subscribe, right?
Yes, and leave a comment. Again, once tell Brian all the mistakes he made down there in the comments, and then again, if you don't like a play, there's this guy.
Yeah, right.
But if you're in favor of it, then leave a comment for me as well.
Can they still influence you? Have you already picked the 2 for
I
next
haven't
week?
done, but I'll tell you, if someone makes a strong enough argument, then there's a discussion to be had.
I like it. All right, do that on those comments. Like, share. We want you to comment, of course, but most importantly, we need you to subscribe to Frogs Today and frogstoday.com for all the latest info. Follow Coach Beaudin as well on social media as well. Keep you up to date on everything going on as far as TCU football is recruiting. All right, until we see you next week for another edition of Dissecting the Frogs, have yourself a great weekend.
The surge in his head, former head coach David Beaudin brings his football expertise to Frog fans everywhere in Dissecting the Frogs.
PlayActionPools.com. The newest sports pool hosting platform, Play Action Pools is your spot for all of your football contest needs. Whether it's a pick'em or survivor pool, Play Action has you covered against or without the spread. Be sure to check out PlayActionPools.com and use code FROGS today for 50% off your league.
Roxo Media House.